We synced up your walk-up song with a couple highlights you had this season as we welcome you in this morning. So, what is your nickname around the club? Is it just Cheese? Is that what you've been going by since you got here to Fayetteville?
Yeah, so honestly, in the world of baseball, since I was maybe in high school, I've gone by Cheese. Like, that's just what everyone calls me because of my last name. It kind of sounds like Beidelschies, but kind of randomly in the Sunday game against Vanderbilt where we swept, Coach Van Horn pulled out the nickname Juice, and no one really knows where he got that from, but people have kind of been running with that now. So it's right now it's sort of a combination between Cheese and Juice.
Okay, we'll refer to you as both this morning. So give us a sense, Columbus, Ohio, you're an Ohio kid, you come down. I know Columbus is a big town. People don't realize how big it is. I know House of Ohio State where you were at, but kind of give us a sense of what it's been like coming from Ohio and then being here in Fayetteville and just the initial start to conference play and everything that's led up to it for you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been a lot different. Like, Columbus is awesome. I love that city, and Ohio State was great as an Ohio kid. That's kind of a dream come true, but they have a saying down here where it just means more. And you come down to Fayetteville, and everything's Arkansas Razorbacks, whereas in Columbus, there's kind of a lot of other stuff going on. But it is cool here, where especially during baseball season, like, you're pretty much the primary focus of everyone in this town's, life. So that part's pretty cool.
Landon, I'm a golf guy, and I've gotten into simulator golf and looking at spin rates and looking at all the things, a flight scope or a TrackMan and those kind of things can provide a golfer. It's gotten very analytical. Baseball's been that way for a little while now. Take us inside the lab, because I think more of our audience can maybe understand today, because I think we got a lot of guys listening that play golf and have been to simulators. There's a lot of the same kind of technology. Take us inside the lab and what you guys do there and how that's changed your approach to the way you improve.
Yeah. So, I mean, our biggest piece of technology that we use on a daily basis is TrackMan, kind of similar to the way it's used in golf, like ball flight. Like, the hitters use it to see their exit velocities and their launch angles, and that's how you kind of see them maximizing their home run potential. But on the pitching side, it really tells you everything about how the ball is moving, obviously how fast it's going, horizontal, vertical movement, how much depth you get on a slider, how much carry you get on a fastball. So every pitcher is different, and every pitcher kind of uses that technology to sculpt their own arsenal into what's the most effective thing for them. So it's a great tool, especially for guys that are working on new pitches or trying to add velocity. There's a lot of good things you can use it for.
So when you read that data, I mean, I guess you have to learn how to adjust. Or tell us what you and Matt Hobbs and other in the staff. I mean, when you see a number you like or don't like, how do you implement that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of like the pitching guys here are obviously experts with all that stuff, so they kind of give you like tips and cues, like, hey, we want this number to be like this. But honestly, like, when you get to this point in the season and you're competing every week, it's really just fine tuning, and you don't really want to be thinking about what your TrackMan numbers are doing when you're out there on the field competing. So there's definitely a fine line to it at this point in the year.
All right. I just think that's a cool part of it. I'm intrigued because I think, like a lot of golfers,
he wants to test out his golf swing on y'all's track. That's what he's saying, Landon. That's what he wants to come up. He wants to come up to the Hunt Center and test it out a little bit.
I would like to take a like a 9-iron or a wedge out there to home plate and see if I could clear the fin. That would be something I would be in on. So.
I think he
I don't think Dave Van Horn would like it very much if you took a divot out of his sod, though.
Yeah, I probably don't want to tear up the grass.
No, I don't think that'd get you in good graces with DVH.
Lynn, I got to ask, so I don't know what y'all's baseball stadium in Columbus holds, but I mean, Baum Walker, you hadn't seen postseason yet, but there's going to be 12,000 people here in regionals, and hopefully y'all move beyond that to supers, and then we'll see what happens if you go to Omaha. But I mean, how much of a difference is, I mean, to a certain extent, you're playing in a minor league ballpark. What's that change been like for you?
Yeah, it's honestly like a night and day difference. Like, the fact that people actually care about baseball down in the South is pretty cool to me. Like, just the game days in general, like driving to the field 4 hours before the game and they're already lined up half a block down the street, and I've been told it's going to get crazier than that. But it just to see how many fans are engaged in the game, and I think the coolest part is the little kids in the stands, and like after the game, it's cool that how all those little kids will look up to you and ask you to sign stuff now until Vahiva Aloy walks by, then they'll forget about you real quick. But that part is cool. Just the fans in general, just having fans is pretty cool.
I want to we talked about transition from whether it's baseball stadium being in the South there. You were, I think, what you would call the undisputed alpha of Ohio State's pitching staff last year. Now you're kind of one of the alphas being a part of the rotation on the weekends. What is that dynamic? What has that change been like? And I know this program has built up just quite a resume. There's so many players that come in year out. What does that change in just level of talent that you get to participate and play with, game in, game out, done for you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool, and it makes the game a lot easier. I kind of came from a place where you had to be perfect on the mound if you wanted to win the game, and here that's not the case, whether that's good or bad. But, even if I do go out and have a bad start one day, the offense is going to score 10 runs, and the bullpen's going to shut them down the rest of the game. Like, that's just how it goes here. So it definitely takes a lot of pressure off you as a starting pitcher, and overall, baseball is a lot more fun when you're winning games.
Now, you did hit in high school. Have you ever asked Dave if you could, or I should say Coach Van Horn, can you take BP? Hey, Coach, I can DH this game. It's just a midweek. Has that conversation ever come up?
No, I don't think that's ever come up. I don't think Coach Van Horn's very open to that. I think he kind of knows what he's doing, and he's been writing lineups for however many years. I think he's got that one handled.
You gotten in on any of this fishing out at Lake Norm there behind the fence? Are you an angler? Do you put a rod and reel in your hand?
Yeah, I've been out there a few times. I'm not very good. It seems like every time I go out there, I'm just throwing worms in the water. But I'm
you're feeding the fish rather than you're feeding them, not catching them.
Yeah, they're smarter than me.
Now I've been told. Clay's told us there's like an 8-pound bass in that place. I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard like Cam Koshel's told me he's caught some big ones in there, but he's definitely your guy when it comes to fishing.
So you only want to feed them worms. Let's not feed them any baseballs, right? That's what you don't want to feed them.
I try to, but the hitter's got enough of that. Get that done at least.
Juice, I need a point of clarification because I've heard it both ways, and I need you. And there's nothing on the website. I should have done my homework and asked Oliver prior to this interview. But is it Beidelschies or Beidelschies? I think it is.
Cheese.
Okay, so I said it right. I thought I said it right, but I just wanted to. I heard it different ways a couple times. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted to make sure that was how it was.
With a team that hits the ball so well. We always hear about, they've staked the pitcher to this great lead. Landon, take us inside the mental aspect of, working with and pitching for a team that they can really put you at ease as a pitcher. I mean, I know it's just kind of thrown around in general terms, but really give us some insight that when you're maybe not off to the best start, knowing, hey, I've got some guys that can swing the stick, can settle you down a little bit when you're on the mound.
Yeah, that's definitely a fact for sure. It takes a lot of pressure off of you when it comes to strictly like winning the game. Like, okay, like last week, for example, against Missouri, like we scored a lot of runs pretty early, and I was like, all right, we're probably going to win this game if I can just keep going. And there's a flip side of it too, where I'm the type of pitcher where I'm my best when there's a lot of pressure. And when I know our offense is going to put up 10, 12 runs early on in the game, it kind of takes that good pressure off you as a pitcher. And, there's definitely a best of both worlds situation there. But, there's just two sides to that equation.
All right, Landon, before we let you go, by the way, Landon Beidelschies with us here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Big series ahead, Athens, Georgia. You guys are taking on the Bulldogs. Wes Johnson, former pitching coach here in Arkansas under Dave Van Horn. I know you guys have a big series in the SEC this weekend, but what's it going to take to pull at least 2 or 3 against the Bulldogs ahead?
Yeah, it's just a lot of what we've been doing. As a pitching staff, it starts on Friday night with Root, and he's done a great job of setting the tone. And, you know, what he does really well is he gets to advantage counts very early, and he's really good at getting off the field and putting hitters away. So we just got to do a lot of that as an offense, just keep playing good team baseball, keep getting the big hit like we have been, and, you know, not get ahead of ourselves, and every team's the same. And, you know, Coach Hubbs has a quote that every team's nameless and faceless, and we're just playing baseball.
Well, Coach Van Horn calls him Juice. He's had the nickname Cheese for a while. His full name, Landon Beidelschies. Again, Arkansas starting pitcher, kind enough to make some time for us this morning. Landon, we appreciate it. Best of luck this weekend in Athens, Georgia, okay?
Thank you guys very much.